The Monsters of the Gridiron Podcast.
And we're coming for you. Squad up, 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 squad up.
Woo, what's going on, guys? What's going on? Welcome to another episode from the Monsters of the Gridiron, talking some off-season Chicago Bears acquisitions, moves. We know it's kind of slow right now because we're in off-season. The guys on a little mini break before it's time to get hot and heavy. But Terry and Walt, tell me how y'all doing.
Go ahead, Terry.
Man, I'm doing great, man. You know, I'm just ready for some football. You know, I got to rock RIP, one of my mentors, Gail Sayers. So I felt a little Kansas comment today. So I had to rep my former mentor here, man. But I feel great, man. It's all about football. Just coming straight off the UFL championship. That was an exciting time too.
Oh, how was that? Give us some feedback, Terry. Since you've done at the UFL calling the game out there rocking with the GOAT, Tom Brady. Tell him what what's going on, baby.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, man. St. Louis, they're lobbying for a football team, an NFL team, and every week that the Battlehawks been playing, they've been averaging 40,000 plus. So I foresee the Battlehawks or St. Louis in general. I foresee them getting a team real soon, man, because those fans are hungry for it, man. It was an all around good atmosphere, man. The UFL championship just kind of felt like I was back at an NFL game. So that's how I felt, and it was a good time, man.
Awesome. Walt, talk to me.
Very nice, man. Doing good. A bit of a long week last week, but you know what? I'm going to echo Jason here. I think we're all chomping at the bit for training camp. I know I can't wait. I'm ready to go.
Like you said, I think everybody's ready to go because, ultimately when you sit back and, now we're in the dog days of summer, it's when, baseball going on. So the Cubs, White Sox have been an utter disappointment. The Sky, for the most part, I like what they got going on with Andrew Reese and Cardoso.
Yeah.
I think if they get one or two more shooters, they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with. But the bread and butter, as we know, are the Chicago Bears. So when we're, like you said, we're sitting here chomping at the bit, and like every move that is being made right now, it's under the microscope because I think it's a move that's going to aid in getting us back to dominance and getting us back to the point where it's going to re-energize the whole city, but also just re-energize us as well because, right now it's like, man, it's hot. You know what I'm saying? It's June. We already, we waiting for training camp. We ready for the Hall of Fame game. So we're looking at every acquisition. And I know today some of the things we want to talk about were for each one of us, who we think going to be at least 3 surprise players that's going to have a breakout this year, but also the latest acquisition move, the wide receiver / kick returner that they just signed. How do you think he's going to impact the roster? Because I'm seeing a lot of chatter where people think that, it's going to be lights out for Velus Jones Jr. And quite frankly, I don't feel that's the case. I really think with the new special team rule, I think Velus Jones, and it's always good to have 2 guys that are versatile anyway. So, I think that both of them can thrive with these new special team rules and be successful. We'll kick it off with you, Terry. Give us some insight on what you think the latest acquisition that we just added, how he's going to fit in and who you think would be on the roster spot bubble from a perspective of really the number 5 or number 6 wide receiver.
Yeah, to be honest with you, when they made that transaction, a lot of people was like, "Oh, Velus Jones, he's out." But you got to keep in mind, they invested a draft pick. I think was he like the 3rd round draft pick or something like that? Velus Jones Jr. But the thing about it is,
Velus is a 3rd round draft pick. So people aren't looking at that. It's one thing if he just the first year, he had a bunch of fumbles, and I know for a fact that Washington game, he cost that game, and it was the Giants game too.
Yeah,
so those 2 games for sure. And then last year he had to drop pass against the Chargers from Tyson Bagent.
Yeah.
But for the most part, when you put him in key situations like either a tailback or if he had to do a kick return, for the most part, he's been quite efficient. So me personally, and I'm gonna let you finish, Terry, and then we'll get to Wall on this. But I don't foresee him being threatened by the guy we just signed.
Yeah, and I don't either. But I do believe that this is a put up, shut up year for him. But quite honestly, this is actually going to be a blessing in disguise for him because of the new kickoff return rules. But not only that, all these wide receivers that we've signed, right? No one's talking about Velus Jones Jr. in some way positive. So he's that man that when you look up and you're like, oh man, he got 2 touchdowns, because everybody else is double teaming or putting so much emphasis on the top 3 wide receivers and the tight ends that we have. So he's got speed, and that's one thing you can't teach is speed. So that young man can fly. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a heck of a season, barring any injuries. Because injuries can happen on any position of the field. So you want to keep somebody like him who they've kind of like brought into the offense. He kind of knows. I know we got a new offensive coordinator and things of that nature, but when you have an opportunity to bring someone who's familiar with the city, it's not all about familiar with the offense. You got to get people that's familiar with the city, the training staff, and everything else. So I think he's safe this year, but he's definitely going to have to produce more than what he did. But you got to look at it. The offensive coordinator that we had, that he was there, he's no longer there. And so there's a lot of moving parts. And so he's going to have to really solidify his role and his position on the team this year. What you think about that, Walt?
Yeah, I mean, you made mention to it at the very end. We no longer have Lucchesi, and that kind of was the Achilles heel to the entire offense as a whole, not just with Velus Jones Jr., but Justin Fields and everyone across the board, even DJ Moore to some extent. But looking just at DeAndre Carter, I feel he's just a great camp body. I don't think he's going to he'll push Velus Jones, but he's not going to overtake him in any way, shape, or form. Great guy. His numbers are okay, but are they really an upgrade over Velus Jones Jr.? You mean punt returning? Okay. He had the 2 muff punts, and that's it. Trent Taylor had 2 muff punts in a single game last year, but we're not roasting him over the coils, right?
Right.
If you want to go right in just to pure return yards, Velus Jones Jr., he's averaging about 27.4 yards a return, give or take. That's good. I think he was, 2nd or 3rd in the entire NFL last year behind 2 Pro Bowlers or a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro. So, I mean, you can't ask for anything more from a guy. And even with DeAndre Carter, his is only about 22. So, I mean, you're willing to give up 5 extra yards, which could be, those are meaningful yards at the end of the day. So I just don't see it.
Yeah.
And when you really think about it, I think he could possibly push Dante Pettis for that number 6 because he is 31, DeAndre Carter, and he's bounced around, Chargers, Raiders, with the Bears, I think in 2020 during the COVID season. Like he's been around, but he adds some very inexpensive value that I think we can truly tap into. And, I think it'd be beneficial to see what he can do come training camp and in the preseason because like Freddie Swain, I don't see Freddie Swain being a big special teams guy. December Webster, I don't really see him, even though he's been with the Bears, I think the last 3 years as well, but he's mostly been a practice squad guy. But whoever's at 5 and 6, they got to have the ability to return kicks and punts. Like to me, that's a must. Because you're not going to be a part of the first 3, really the first 4. And Tyler Scott right now is the number 4 wide receiver on the depth chart when we look on this side of the ball. So from a skill position perspective, like it had been said, guess what? It's going to be very competitive, guys. So like people got to really get off the pot. And on the other side, the other draft pick, 5th round draft pick, Dominique Robinson, like this is his year to really step up and assert himself because there is a need after Sweat, after Booker, after DeMarcus Walker, because he's slated as a DN, but that 4th DN position is wide open. So and also interior defensive line. At the Big Bill, after Gervon Dexter and Pickens, there's a need for a fourth defensive interior offensive line to step up. So
Yeah.
it's still some key cogs, especially on the defensive side, that need to be figured out before we can just truly feel comfortable going into the season saying, you know what? Okay, on paper, I see 12, 13 wins, but based off the people that's going to be playing consistently as they're fighting for these positions and fighting for these roles, will it match up? Because last year on paper, we could have easily saw 10, 11 wins. And
Yeah.
if we would have finished those 3 games, guess what? We'd have won 10 games. So we weren't far off last year. It just came down to people actually performing at a high level. The Nate Davises, the Lucas Patricks, the Fiend, like the guys we had, they really didn't they didn't get
Right.
things done from a blocking perspective. So this year, if Nate Davis rebounds and Tevin stays healthy and
Darnell Wright.
Darnell Wright
Yeah.
takes that second year lead, Braxton Jones takes that third year lead, like and Coleman Shelton or Ryan Bates handle business at center. Ryan Bates could potentially challenge for right guard,
Oh yeah.
depending on how Nate Davis shows up. So I know we said 3 surprise player breakouts, but I think we need to add 3 potential busts as well on the other side that we might look at. So Terry, let's transition into that. Like, who are you looking at out this 53-man roster going into 2024? That'll be your 3 breakout, but then on the flip side, your 3 busts.
Wow, man, those are good questions. You put me on the spot. I hope I don't run into any of these cats when I'm out here broadcasting or something. You know what I mean? Hand-to-hand combat is one of my favorites, but I don't want to, I don't want to resort to violence. But I think Velus Jones Jr. is really going to shut a lot of people up. He's going to be one of the breakouts because he doesn't have a choice. You know what I mean? He's going to have to really show up. But honestly, another person that we're not really talking about because this position is quite coveted and we have plentiful in there. And I believe Roschon Johnson is going to have one hell of a season this year.
Okay.
He's slated to be the second or third string quarterback, so he's kind of filtering in and out behind Swift, but he runs with power and determination. So I believe he's going to be another player. But then also, I mean, he showed a lot of flashes last year for this last person that I think has potential, and that's Tyreek Stevenson. I think the wide receivers that we have now, and he's battling day to day with these guys, and they giving each other work every day in practice.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to work out wonders for him because they're only going to make him better. He's a young player. He's shown a lot of promise last year. He made some key plays last year too. So I'm excited about that. But as far as for bust, I don't really have any. I think everybody is on high alert, man. Quite honestly, I think every player it's almost like everybody's listening to Patty LaBelle. They got a new attitude. You know what I mean? So everybody is excited. Everybody is wanting to see what the offense and the defense is going to look like. So I don't really see any busts. I see nothing but success for this team.
Okay. Walt, talk to me, Walt.
All right. Well, first off, I got to start with Gervon Dexter. He's starting to make that leap. Yeah. You can't leave him off this list, man. He's just there's too much talent there.
Yeah.
Just doesn't say he's not going to be a breakout player. We saw after the Montez Sweat acquisition that his play increased tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's going into his first off season in the NFL. So he's been in with that nutritional program, that strength training program.
Didn't he slim down too?
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks cut. So, and the power was always there. The guy was a big dude. The technique has to improve a little bit, but I mean, like we always talked about, he was going from a very read and react style defense to more of we're going to have you shoot the gap and go for the quarterback. So that takes time. So, but he's had that time to adjust, and I think he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
We brought up Velus Jones Jr. I've always been a big supporter of the man from the very beginning. I think he's just taking a lot of heat because he was, a top 75 pick, and some of those other guys that went after him that are, they're doing okay. But, we're always kind of relentless on our Bears, good or bad, when it comes to that. So I have to put him at number 2. And you brought up Tyreek Stevenson's. I love the man, so I don't want to include him here, but I think Dominic Robinson is going to make that jump too. I feel like he's taking a lot of heat, and he feels like that guy's just going to internalize it and use it as fuel to make that jump finally. Because we saw it, we know it's there. It just he needs to funnel that and make it happen on a consistent basis, and I think he can do that. I really do.
Wow.
Now, I don't want to say bust because I think bust is a bad word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some people that might disappoint. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. I'm worried about Jalen Johnson. I'm worried about a regression from last year. That's my main sticking point. I think he's a very good player, has a lot of talent, but there's been a lot of times where he's missed very easy interceptions. There's right in your hands. You can't screw this up, and somehow you do. So, I mean, I don't see it being a big thing, and I think I might just be overreacting. But he's on my list.
Okay.
Nate Davis, I love the guy to death, but I don't know what the death of his mother is going to do to him. And I'll be honest, I know firsthand what grief can do to a person. Very recently, I've been doing it through myself. I'm just now starting to get out of it. So, and you're surrounded by thousands of people in the stadium every day, fans on the internet saying that you suck and that we should just cut you and throw you in the garbage can. So you have all that on top of it. I don't know if you can come back from that. I really want him to I want him to go out. I want him to ball out and just throw people into the dirt. But he's got to be on my list, man. Has to be. The third one, I'm going to continue with the line. That's Braxton Jones. I think he's got all the talent in the world. I think his measurables are great. And I'm going to put him in the same boat as DeMarcus Walker. Both those guys, I had a hard time picking a top three. But if the neck injury isn't as bad as we think it is, and he can come back and show us that he's healed from that and work on his penalties, I think he's going to be a good player. But those penalties also come back and bite him in the ass.
You heard it first.
And that's true. So look, I wanted all of us to really just have a variety of who we, and so far there's plenty variety, because when I look at probably 4 that's gonna have a breakout. In addition to what you all said, I see Jaquan Brisker with the addition of Kevin Byard coming in because of their skill sets. Like and because normally if you saw Brisker coming up in the box, you knew what time it was, versus if you saw Eddie Jackson coming. So I think the interchangeable parts with Kevin Byard, because he's physical and he's a ball hog. So now you really won't know who's coming in playing joker position, who's coming in playing free position. So I think that's going to aid in more sacks and interceptions for Jaquan this year. Also, Darnell Wright. I think Darnell Wright is going to be a dominant force in his second year in the league, because I'm looking at what dominant pass rushers do we really play throughout the year. And okay, Aiden Hutchinson, and against Houston we'll play
San Fran,
Danielle Hunter, and Will Anderson Jr. And then San Fran, Bosa. That's 3 games out of 17. And depending on where Josh Allen lines up for Jacksonville, because normally I know he likes to line up on the left side, but I just really see Darnell having a breakout season. But I also see Tevin Jenkins having a breakout season. I'm going to predict he's going to stay healthy for 17 season, because I know 17 games. He's been doing those Pilates. So I think he's going to stay healthy. I think he's going to be a mauler this year. His technique is clean. You know what I'm saying? If his endurance and stamina stays where it needs to be, I think, guess what? At the end, I think he's going to be a great long-term addition, in that lineup. Now, when you look on the flip side, the 3 I got, Larry Borum, I don't see Larry Borum sticking to the roster because he's been below average at best when given opportunity. So the young talent that we just drafted, the kid out of Yale and Matt Pryor, like I just see those guys developing at a much more economically feasible cost. And then Travis Homer, like you said earlier, T-Spain, and Roshan got the ability to play special teams.
Yeah.
It's Khalil Herbert, he doesn't play. So I can't see after Swift, I see Roshan, and then I see Herbert. I see Ian Willis sticking before.
I think he's a cut. I think he's going to be a cut this year.
And I think Elijah Hicks is going to be a surprise cut too, because when you look at who we got at safety after Bayard and Jaquan Brisker, then we got Jonathan Owens. So then it's going to come down to either Hicks, Colbert. I'm trying to think who else we got in camp at safety. But I don't know. I just feel like Hicks might get the short end of the stick unless he has a great preseason. And then on the other side, Dante Pettis, I think Carter, if they got to choose between Carter and Dante, I think Dante might have to pack those bags, because at the end of the day, it's like, Carter, he does offer a little bit more speed, a little bit more flexibility. Dante had a great relationship with Justin, but, I don't see him sticking through.
It feels like the Dante Pettis contract was more of a, hey, listen, I know you got hurt at the end of the year, so here's another chance on me.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you on that one, Walt. I think it was like we're just going to hook you up, but he could be gone as well.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, chat. So, chat, while we having this discussion, you all can put in there, what guys you think going to be mainstays and what guys you think will be on the bubble. Because, ultimately, I just feel like there's so much competition, specifically at the skill set positions, that, man, it's going to be – and to be honest, guys, I don't even think we're done yet making transactions. Because I really foresee another end and or tackle coming in via free agency.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I like what Relentless Mikey said. He said, do y'all think Gordon's going to be solid this year? I think the whole secondary is going to be solid, quite honestly. So, I mean, I think they're going to feed off each other. But one of the unique things, well, not unique thing, but one of the things that Bojack couldn't provide that I think Byers could is availability. Because Byers, I'm not going to jinx him or anything, but I don't think he's missed a game. So
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to feed off of him. He's a little older, but he's going to provide a lot of wisdom to this young, hungry secondary. So I think Gordon's going to have a heck of a season too. I wouldn't be surprised to see 3 of the 4 in the Pro Bowl.
Well, I'm going to double down on that, Terry, because I'm going to say we're going to have the best secondary in the league. Like it's truly a no-fly zone when you look at both safeties, both corners, and our nickel. When I look at other teams, I don't really see skill set wise any of those guys that can match the talent that we have. So ultimately, it's going to come down to one thing: the front 4 consistently getting pressure on the quarterback. Because think about this: we play how many rookies this year? We play Anthony Richardson. We play Jalen. What's his name up there in Washington?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
We play Jaden Daniels. We play Stroud, CJ Stroud. He's not a rookie, but we might get a couple off of him, just depending on that pass rush. But for Drake May, if he starts for the Patriots. So if you look at our schedule, like what quarterback do we play? Will Levis, that really stands out, that's going to scare you. And Trevor Lawrence going to give you a couple. What's
if he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy.
That's true.
Jared Goff going to give you a couple. Sam Arnold going to give you a couple. Only one I'm really worried about is Jordan Love, and I hate to say that, but I think if we get pressure on him and the offense plays the way it needs to play and they can't control the tempo and get us one-dimensional like they've been able to do the last 6 years, because they always jump out front and then they make us one-dimensional where they can just tee off.
Yeah.
Like, I feel if we keep pressure on them, it's a wrap. Matt Stafford, guess what? If you put pressure on Stafford, he going to give you some.
He'll throw it over.
Brock Purdy, Purdy love to just go between the numbers. He don't really like throwing outside. So if you got pressure in his face, guess what?
He's not going to run.
He's not going to.
No.
Murray, we beat Murray last year. So when you look at the schedule, our schedule is really designed for us to be successful coming out the gate. You know, like we just got to play to the potential of what we're capable of doing. We got great coaching. Like I don't think people really look at the coaching we got on both sides of the ball. Like we got from Eric Washington, who was here back with Lovey, got Hope back there in the secondary, passion, energy. You know, then on the opposite side, you got Waldron, you got Kerry Jones, you got Thomas Brown. Like we got some dogs on both sides of the coin, and we all know coaching matters. So to be able to have this consistently, when was the last time we truly had that? Because normally we have a good offensive staff, but then the defense is trash, or the defense for the most
or vice
part.
versa.
Oh, yeah. Or when have we had balance across the board?
The year we went to the Super Bowl.
But did we really have it then, or was it?
I mean, we maintained then. I should say.
Correct.
We didn't have.
We had a dominant defense, and hey, we had a dominant defense, and we had Devin Hester,
Hall of Famer.
Now, when Trestman was there, the offense did pretty well, but Mel Tucker was giving up 50 burgers left and right.
Yeah, so, I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I man, it's just, first of all, I can't get here fast enough. But like I said, when the games jump off, I just hope that what we're projecting and what we're manifesting, it plays out on the field. I want everybody, because look, like you said, availability and accessibility, those are the key. If you're not accessible and available, we can sit here all day and be like, man, we got Rome, we got DJ, we got Keenan, but Caleb on his back because the ball ain't coming out.
Yeah, and you know what? I like what Squingy said. He said he still think we have a rookie quarterback and a new offensive coordinator with new coaching. There will be bumps along the way. We already know that, but we have security blankets for those bumps. If you got an opportunity to throw to Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Aduze, and then you get throw to your tight end Cole Kmet, and then you got two veteran tight ends now. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be bumps, but if push comes to shove, hand the ball off.
But you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Like if Caleb 1, 2, 3 ball out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ball out, because DJ route extraordinary, Keenan route extraordinary, and all three of them are great route runners.
Yeah.
So if the ball comes out when it's supposed to come out, like I think the offense is gonna explode. I really do. Same thing. The safety blanket is gonna be the tight ends, Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett. We're gonna see a lot of 21 personnel, a lot of 12 personnel. You're gonna see a lot of probably play action. That's why it was a good signing to bring my guy back. That's it. What, number 19 season?
Oh, Mercedes Lewis.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
So he came back. So I think that was a good signing because he provides safety. He provides an outlet. So
experience.
And he provides leadership, veteran leadership.
Yeah.
So that's something that realistically we haven't had in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about leadership and it's all about coaching too. It starts at the top and trickles down from there. And we didn't have that. I mean, Matt Eberflus is okay in terms of a CEO style of coach. He seems to be very hands-off on his departments, being, listen, I'm going to put you in charge and you go ahead and do the job.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we have to look at it this way. We had no defensive coordinator last year. We had Matt Eberflus. Yeah. We had Matt Eberflus trying to be the defensive coordinator and the head coach. And you had some senior advisor who kind of sat in the Hallis Hall and looked at some tape for us, which seemed to help. But we have a real defensive coordinator in Eric Washington now. We have a real offensive coordinator in Shane Waldron, actually knows what he's doing and has a track record of proving that, unlike former incumbent Luke Getsy, who's now having problems in Vegas.
And can call plays. Luke Getsy never called plays. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Luke Getsy did fine when he could draw up a script and had a week to do it. But after that, trying to think on the fly, he didn't have the brain power to do so.
But I think, you know what, more and more people are seeing that, Luke Gessie wasn't the super mastermind that people thought he was, because as we're seeing
You had
now,
Aaron Rodgers, though. You were coaching Aaron Rodgers.
correct. You had Aaron Rodgers, not only that, but people are seeing now that he's having problems in Las Vegas already. And we can say, well, Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. But look, at the end of the day, if you're a great coach, look at Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur, he's shown us he's a great coach. We can't dispute that, because he's developed Jordan Love to the point where Jordan Love's about to be the highest paid quarterback here pretty soon. Because if Trevor Lawrence got 55 a year, I'm going to go on record and say Jordan Love probably going to get about 58 to 60 a year.
He's got to do a little bit more.
I don't think
they have the time.
Right. And see, they can give him that money now. Why? Because all of those wide receivers they have and the tight ends are either in year one or year two. So if you give him the deal now, when all of them come up to get paid, now let's be honest, all of them are not going to get paid.
No.
But for the most part, like Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs, I think they'll be in position to get some pretty hefty paydays. But I really want Jordan Love to go ahead and get this long-term extension, because I don't feel like this year he's going to surprise a lot of people. I think it's going to be different, and that's why I feel very positive about us leapfrogging Green Bay and also leapfrogging Detroit, because I think Detroit is going to regress. I don't see Jared Goff maintain, and Detroit probably got the best offensive line in the league. But against us, we play Goff well. If you can get pressure consistently on Goff and consistently on Love, I think that you can rattle those guys. And that's what it's going to take, because before we can win the North and before we can start talking about being a dominant team in the NFC, the first thing is, like, we could go 9-1, 8-2, 10-0 into that Green Bay game. Like, I want to beat Green Bay and break that psychological chain that they have over us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, how many Jordan Love only has this one season on his contract left, correct?
You know what?
Yeah, because he sat for a while, right? He sat for a few years.
No, he's not. Because remember, he signed a 1 year last year. It was kind of like a make or break to see how he will perform. So realistically, I think he's up for an extension right now.
If he wants to stay in Green Bay.
But where is he going?
Somebody will pay him. You already know that.
Dallas I don't know. I can't even say that, because I'm waiting to see what they're going to do for that.
Yeah. Somebody will pay him, though.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just happy. Look, I'm so happy because, and that's why teams got to be careful, because a large bulk of Jordan Love's time where he sat for 3 years, like, they didn't really have no tape or nothing on him where they could have really given him a deal back then. That's why they had him do that 1 year, just to see where he was.
Yeah. And
I'm like, at the end of the day, when you do that, you play a Russian roulette, because, like, he had a great season last year, 4,000 yards, 30-plus touchdowns with a bunch of no-name receivers. Think about this now. Jay Reed had 10, 11 touchdowns.
Yeah, but see, I got to give more credit to Matt LaFleur for that than Jordan Love. I feel like anyone can hit with wide receivers that wide open. That man did a great job. I mean, I could do that.
I agree.
Yeah. You'll get it. You'll average 200 yards a game, at least 250.
So my question is, what is Green Bay doing from a scheme perspective that we weren't doing last year?
Playing football. That's the only way to put it. I mean, there was some head scratchers there on offense last year.
The first game coming out the gate, I'm like, hold up, man. These folks running around out here at Soldier Field like it's 7-on-7 out here, pitching kick.
Yeah.
Well, did you see that also? I forget who posted on X, but they said that the Bears were second, I think, in the entire NFL in terms of calling run plays while down in the second half of games.
Yeah.
All that does is just take a shotgun to your foot and pulls the trigger.
That's it. But you do that when you don't trust your quarterback.
Yeah. or when your quarterback can't read defenses?
Well, I can't. Well, I'm not gonna say that Justin couldn't read defenses.
I didn't say he couldn't read, but that was the rumor.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they were saying.
I don't think it was some PTSD from getting hit so much. Which again, I think the offense he in now is more suitable for his skill set than what Luke Gessie was trying to get him to do the last 2 years with the West Coast, because he'll have the flexibility to, do a lot of zone reads, waggles, and, as he becomes more accustomed. And in Pittsburgh, they drafted a lot of top quality offensive linemen too. So
they always do.
So I can see after this season, Justin getting like a 3-year deal, probably $100 million, because he will come in at some point this year and take over. And if he gets the majority of the snaps, that'll work well for us. So we could get
we get that extra pick. We can get that pick.
And that pick replaces the one we traded for Austin Booker.
Yeah.
So I know you brought up the hits there, but what do you think about this question from this Mikey? He's asking, do you think Caleb will get the flags that Justin didn't?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Look, Caleb right now, like if y'all see, I think he's leading in jersey sales.
He's the face of the NFL. He's the new face of the NFL.
I'm not gonna say that, but he'll be in the top 3 behind Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. That's what I'm gonna say. Because I think Allen's gonna regress. Because I was looking at what they were saying about the connection between him and Keon Coleman, which I love me some Keon Coleman, but when you listen to the GM Bill Bean, he was like, y'all pump your brakes. It's a lot of stuff that y'all not seeing that we're seeing, that it's a transition from being a rookie. So when you see, and the kicker for us is, I think DJ Moore stays. Realistically, I think Keenan stays as well, because he just fired his agent and just signed Clutch. They represent Montez Sweat. So I see a 2-year deal on the horizon coming for Keenan. So that'll be good for Caleb to have all 3 of his wide receivers for the next, at a minimum, 3 to 4 years intact. As you're building that rapport. You know where everyone else is on the field. So I think that'll bode well to accelerate his development versus working with different wide receivers and trying to figure out, do I make a back shoulder throw here? Do I anticipate this skinny post here? Because they're doing some work together right now over the next.
They have been over the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it, that question is, will Caleb get the flags? I don't know. Well, I'll tell you this, though. Caleb's not going to run as much as Justin did. Hopefully, he doesn't need to run that much, right? So that's the first thing. If he doesn't need to run that much, I don't think he would. He might not get a lot of flags. But he is the young face of the NFL. Like, like you already mentioned, Will. You already got your Pat Mahomes boy and everybody else. So those are the face. But he's that up and coming that everybody's going, like you said, leading the league in ticket and jersey sales. These folks are going crazy. And then he brought back the claw. It was the last time somebody did the claw in Chicago. You know what I mean? So,
and he's impressionable. He loves to get on the microphone. He loves for somebody to bring the smoke. Walt, I'm gonna let you address Mr. Don Burr, because I see he's made his round as far as his trash talking, because he already saying that I don't care if they the first youngest roster. I'm talking about from X's and O's, because all it takes is one off season for defensive coordinators to go in and say, okay, let me see what old Ben is doing as far as alignment schemes and things like that. So, like, I just don't see. And why you think Detroit went and got 2 corners in the draft?
They knew what time it was.
The thing with Detroit too is like, Don Burr, you're right. They have a very young roster. That's great. They got a bonehead upstairs though in the coaching department. I love Dan Campbell. I think he's a great personality, but sometimes I wonder if the elevator goes all the way up to the top floor in terms of football decisions, because you guys should have been in that Super Bowl. That was yours to lose, and you fell on your own face. Multiple times, not just once.
And he came out, and when your own coach says that, man, it's so hard in this league to do X, Y, Z, and It's just hard to get back. He's telling you that he doesn't anticipate them getting back to the top.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because like you were talking about Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, they're both 28 years old. They're not getting any younger. Neither is Jared Goff. So, I mean, Caleb Williams is what, 22, 23 at the most.
Yeah.
So
Give or take.
if he comes out and does well out of the gate, he's going to transition very quickly into the face of the NFL
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're looking for that next person.
Well, he's a Heisman guy.
Yeah.
He's already Mr. NIL. He got all these commercials that are out, so he already came in. See, I think that's one of the biggest differences. He came into the league a millionaire. You see what I mean? So he came in there. He shouldn't be starstruck. He shouldn't be any of these things because there was always cameras around him. So I don't think he's going to have that issue. But yeah, if he comes out and balls out, just imagine if he comes and balls out in Chicago. Well, we needed a quarterback since whenever. If he comes out and balls out in Chicago, man, I promise you, man, Chicago's going to give him the keys to the city. They're going to let him pick out the brick that we're going to build a dome in. They're going to do everything. They're going to let him have everything.
Yeah, and I see Don Burr is continuing the tirade here, but let this sink in, Don Burr. Your team was so good last year. We whooped you twice. And all you did was rag on every Bears channel on YouTube. The Bears suck. The Bears suck. But you know what? We had you on the back foot and should have beat you both times.
Yes.
So what does that say about you?
Bingo.
And Detroit, like I said, they've done a masterful job building that thing from the ground up, but they still have some pieces that need to be addressed too, because like outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Jameson Williams, like he's inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like I'm not too good. Oh, we wipe KC. Yeah, you beat KC when they have Chris Jones or Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And you won by 1 point. Like, come on now. Hey, put everything in proper context and the proper perspective, because if Jones would have played, man, it would have been a massacre in Kansas City. I think he was holding out for some new money, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and Brian Branch got lucky on a little tip interception, took it back to the crib. So come on now, Don, bro. Let's not be trolling just because. Let's keep it all in perspective.
Yeah, it's a new season, it's a new year. So the NFC North, the Bears no longer gonna be the laughing stock. I can promise you on that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Bears fan. You can see the excitement in the room. It's the buy-in. If you got the buy-in for the team, then you'll have the commitment too. So
the good thing for the entire NFL is the implosion of the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, you had the Harrison Butker incident. You had the Isaiah Buggs has now been arrested twice
in Alabama.
Yeah. You got all this issue. You had the Chris Jones stuff last year. We know Taylor Smith is coming back again.
Yeah,
this year, so that's going to cause problems too, whether we see it or not. But I think the dynasty is on life support.
Yeah, I think so too. And like Terry said earlier, it's good for the NFL when the Bears are relevant, but it's also good every year when you have on each side, each conference, 2 or 3 teams that last year were left for dead, but then they're resurrected because it gives the fan base hope. So the fan base like, look, we might be going to the playoff. That's a whole nother market and sector that's going to be investing revenue and pumping it into this engine. Because I read something earlier today when they was talking about a class action lawsuit, I guess from DirecTV against the NFL or the ticket or something. But because now, just like with the whole Caitlin Clark thing, we're starting to get different people that are becoming new fan bases that they want to partake in. Like when you got the opportunity to energize these different markets, I think it's great overall for the sport, because when you look at like baseball, it's only a few markets in both the AL and NL that consistently win every year. And you have the same markets that are consistently down every year. So it's like, why am I getting excited to be a Minnesota Twins fan or a Detroit Tigers fan or a Cubs or White Sox fan? Like, versus now, we got because normally with us in football, when you look at it, it's like every, 2005, 2006, 2010, 2017. Like when you look at the lapses in years, now you're looking at from 2018, now we're in 2024. Like it's like every 5-6 years, that's when we explode for 1 year, and then we go dormant for another 5-6. Like it's like our window instantly it opens and then shuts the following year.
Yeah.
Whereas we want consistency to be relevant, like Baltimore, like Pittsburgh, like Kansas City, like year in, year out.
Accustomed to winning.
Come on now, that's it.
Yeah.
Because like we can do this all preseason and all season, but at the end of the day, when it really counts, that's when we want to truly sit back and say, you know what? Now what we've been discussing and putting together in the form of execution is actually happening and coming to fruition. And now year in, year out, we're competitive. You know, we can start prepping to go to New Orleans this year. Super Bowl's in New Orleans this year.
Sure is.
We won 85 in New Orleans. So, you know, things are lining up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, it's just a lot of good things. And Levante, he said we got Simone Biles. So we do.
Hey, that's a beautiful thing, Levante. You're right. Like people they don't look at the little hidden thing. I wish we could have got Brendan Rice. That would have been good too. So we could have had Jerry and the names that brings fan engagement. It brings new fan engagement. So man, Simone been killing it. So guess what? Her entire fan base. When you look, I look at her Instagram. She's got like 4 million followers.
Yeah.
So that's 4 million new set of eyes on the Chicago Bears. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I think about this too. You're coming into the Olympics year, and you have best. Yeah. You have the best gymnast in the world, bar none.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point, Walt. I didn't forget about it, but you did remind me of that. Yeah, all eyes is gonna be on her as well. So.
Yeah, because I know people talked about Taylor Swift's got all these fans, blah blah blah. This lady has actual gymnastics moves named after her.
Yeah.
And nobody else can say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. This is gonna be a good year.
Mm-hmm. And I did want to bring up something you mentioned about the Keenan Allen extension. 2 years sounds just about right, because he's going to be around 34 years old, and that allows us to ease Rome Odunze into that wide receiver 2, possible wide receiver 1 role, without forcing him into it. If that makes any sense.
Man, that makes great sense.
It makes tons of sense. And then keep in mind too, we get Carolina's 2nd round draft pick next year as well. So in the event that we do need to get a wide receiver, I mean, that's leverage right there too. But I do like what you're talking about. I think they're gonna give him just enough, Rome Odunze. They're gonna give him enough to chew on this year and say, hey, young fella, you learn from these 2 wise vets, but we want you to also take the top off too. So he's gonna go get it.
And look, next year, a couple of names look at Walt. Luther Burden from Missouri.
As I say, the wide receiver out of Missouri, right?
Woo, nasty.
Yeah.
So it's a couple wide receivers coming out next year that me and Terry already got our eyes on that we're gonna probably see at the Senior Bowl.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, if he doesn't decide, which again, I think he's going to develop great rapport with Caleb, and he's gonna love the city. And Keenan has a great personality too, as you can tell at the presser. So
yeah,
I really foresee him getting something done, in the 2-year range. So, and then if we still can get, because I know we got Swift for 3 years, but you know what? I'm gonna see what Roshan gonna do though. I'm not gonna cast him out, like he worked out these past 2 months out here.
Hey, hold off on my young mentee now. You know that's my mentee, so I'm telling you, he's going. Real Roshan, yeah, he's gonna have a hell of a season this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I just want him to develop the speed, because when you just want to run over people, that you and I both know that's not gonna last long.
Well, he's down in Beaumont, Texas, Port Arthur, Texas, right now. You watch and see what he does when this year. He's aware. See, the thing about it is there's no pressure on him like it is for Bijan. Bijan is the running back, and that's it. They're looking at Bijan to just do everything. But Roshan could go there on your second and third down. and get you those yards that you need and get you those touchdowns. But they're not looking for him to be the every down back as of right now, because obviously we signed Swift. So we got our own Swift too.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, the Swift signing is definitely underrated. I don't know why a lot of, other channels and people are knocking this guy. I mean, he gives us an excellent running back.
Yeah.
And a guy who can catch passes, which we really didn't have out of that position last year.
Right.
So,
No,
I don't know. I just don't get it.
I think it's spot on. So, well, guy, that's all I got for tonight, because I know we're gonna watch that Mavericks and Celtics game. So
yeah,
I'm actually about to go over here to Michael Irvin's. He got like a nice little bar and grill that he just opened up. So I'm gonna go check the game out at his little spot and talk a little trash Bears versus Cowboys with him. So,
that sounds good.
He going with the Mavericks, but I think the Celtics might go ahead and put the nail in the coffin tonight, guys.
Yeah, I think they're ready to go and get it over with and get this ring.
I think so too.
KP is back too tonight, right?
Yeah. Porzingis said he's playing.
Yeah, they're gonna let him play.
Yeah, he said he's playing.
Y'all got anything in closing?
I don't know. I mean, we got how many days till training camp? That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I'm trying. It's next month. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready to see all the things that we saw on paper that we're talking about on paper. I want to see how we play and watch these young guys perform. So I think it's gonna be a hell of a season for the Bears.
I think so. Yeah.
Definitely going to London this year. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. We got to sit down and talk about logistics for London, but also the other games and for the Hall of Fame game, because we're gonna be pretty packed in numbers this year, because we know what's gonna happen. So we want to be a part of something great this first year, and then just sustain that year in and year out.
Oh yeah,
exactly. But guys, before we all go, chat's been great. Just hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. It's free. Helps us out. And tell your friends. We'll be back next week.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be back this week, Walt, because I think
that's right. We got that Thursday, right?
Yeah, Thursday we got a special guest, so we'll be back this week.
Cool.
I know when the season starts, we're gonna try to do at a minimum 2 shows, a weekly game show, and probably some shows if we're on site. So I know we're talking about that.
Yeah,
we're gonna have some special guests, former Bears. I know we're working on some present Bears, some coaches. We're just getting everybody an opportunity to transition in and get ready for this season. And then we want to make sure that we get an MODG squad, something to be clamoring for. So get ready, guys. It's going to be a special year.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
That's all I got.
All right, gentlemen. Signing out.
Well, good show. We'll see you all later.
Bear down.
Bear down.